Mr. President, thank you very much for this opportunity to interview you. I'm Luciano Mallima, the multiple district responsible coordinator of the internal communication. And I think that this interview is very important for the Italian Alliance because can hear from your personal voice, your idea, and your suggestion to the Italian Alliance. Okay, well, the first question. Well, Mr. President, you come from a small town in Minnesota of only 1,042 souls.
We have a new census. It's 956 now. We've
Yeah.
even gotten smaller.
Well, I picked this date from your website.
We have to update it.
Yes, but there are still 69 Lions in your clubs.
Yes.
There are many family groups, isn't there?
Yes.
And now you are the international president of the world's largest service organization. So would you like to explain how you managed to achieve this incredible result? What is the message you want to give to all those clubs that are struggling with membership growth and gaining the know-how needed to have a social impact in their community?
You know, it wasn't that long ago that we had an aging club. I don't say old, I say seasoned. We had a lot of seasoned members. And we knew we had to do things differently. And it was a men's club. First thing was to be able to open it up for women. And now we have great women in our club, great leaders in our club. But we did something that the young clubs and the small clubs have to do is way back when, before the assurance initiative, what we have, and it's now the global membership approach of doing a club analysis. We did a club analysis and we talked about what are we good at? And we had a lot of great strengths in our club. What are our weaknesses? Some of them where we didn't have women involved. Some of them were aging, we're getting older. And we talked about what the opportunities we could have if we opened up more of our membership. And then we talked about the threats of what's going to stop us from doing that. And so one of our first things that came out from one of our weaknesses was we weren't getting younger members. So because of the brainstorming, because of the working together, we came up with an idea that we'll put an ad in our local newspaper, and we're going to say we're going to come by and fill everybody's sandboxes up for your kids, so we get young people, young parents involved right away, and we get them involved with a service project immediately. And we also said, well, by the way, we're kind of getting, our backs are sore and we're getting a little bit older, so would you like to help us out? So we got them involved in the community right away, and that now we have a club of 69 members from 18 years old up to 97 years old. In fact, my mom was 101, and I inducted her to be a Lion member. And I went to Mom and I said, this was just before the pandemic, and I said, Mom, I said, how would you like to be a Lion? You've done everything. You've created the food, you've done service projects, you've done every event that Lions do since 1964. How would you like to be a Lion? And she just looked at me and I said, Mom, what's the problem? You deserve to be a Lion. And she says, well, I don't know if I can make all the meetings or not. At 101, I thought that was, and I said, Mom, don't worry about it. We'll take you to the meeting. So my moral is, you're never too old and you're never too young to be a Lion.
Thank you, President. Now let's move on to membership. Due to the spread of the GMA within all districts, our association will surely undergo a change of pace. On a priority scale, what three actions most effectively characterize this new approach to membership? How should governors use clubs to make the necessary changes essential to new members' motivation, and which among previous approaches should definitely be left behind?
Boy, that's a lot to cover. I think the first thing is the objectives that you got to have with the global membership approach. The three objectives I would say is it has to remain simple. We cannot confuse the issue and make it so complicated that the whole organization and clubs just push it aside because it's too complicated to do. It's got to be simple.
Be genuine.
Yes, absolutely. We have to. And the next thing, the next objective would be, is this has to be district driven. This is not something coming from Lions International and trickling its way down. This is something that every district has to drive on their own. In fact, It should really be zone-driven and club-driven. It's got to be driven from the club in order to be able to make this successful. And the success of this has always been open communication. It's like we did in our club. We did a brainstorming, which is a club analysis, and it opened up communication to all of our members in our club, the good things, the bad things, whatever. And then the third priority I think they need to have as an objective is that everybody has to be accountable. You can't wait for the global membership team in order to drive your membership. You can't wait for the district governor to do it. You can't wait for the club president to do it. It's up to each and every one of us members, in order to be able to drive this and be accountable. Be accountable for what you want to do. You have to set a goal in your club and be accountable that those goals are going to be achieved. The things we have to kind of jettison a little bit is, you know, we've had a lot of traditions, and we've always done, I'm tired of people saying, well, that's not the way we've done it in the past. We've got to get rid of that attitude first of all, because it just bothers me. We have to think of new ways to be able to do things, and it's critical. We have to think differently in what we're doing and how we're going to be able to accomplish things. We have to think outside the box, and I know that's a cliche, but we have to together as a team, not just individual people, but as a team and as a club and as a zone, figure out what is it that we want to accomplish, what are the goals and set them, and then what's it going to take to get to those goals. Plain and simple.
Thank you. Well, the third question. Amongst the aim of Lionism, there is also the promotion of friendship and understanding between people, a very common issue. Twinning friendship cards used to exchange at international convention at various levels are the main and the best known opportunities available to Alliance for this purpose. Surely the pandemic has favored the development of social platforms as new tools for relationship and global comparison. Which of these, in your experience, work best and are more effective and lasting? What other opportunity would you suggest?
You know, I think we have to be able to have it, you got to think again on your district your way, but your club your way. What works good in your club? And of twinning, I love twinning. I absolutely love twinning and having clubs twin with each other. It's the camaraderie of how other people are doing things. So I like those approach. I'm a technology person, so I'm very much into social media and being able to connect up with not only your local members, but connecting up with people in your district and connecting up with people in the world. This pandemic was a terrible thing. It was awful. It didn't stop, it kept coming, but I am most proud of what we did in order to break that bondage of having to be stuck at home. We found ways through social media, and especially through the help of our younger members, to be able to Zoom all the way around the world. I've made more friends during the pandemic and know more people around the world because of social media and being able to do that. Yeah, it's a two-edged sword. Sometimes we get into trouble with it, but you just have to be respectful. You have to be respectful from each other. I call this organization my family, and I'm very serious about that. I'm a very family person. Family means everything to me, my personal family, but more my family of Lions. And when you can connect up with a family of Lions through twinning, social media, any of the things that work for your club or individually as a person, I'm for all means go for it.
Well, now let's talk about LCIF. Our foundation represents the most important opportunity to render our Lions action tangible, both locally and globally. This action also expresses a very strong potential in terms of membership, both in the satisfaction of members and in the ability to attract potential new members. In a nutshell, would you give us the definition of LCIF when first engaging a new member? And then in the case of a member with 10 to 15 years of Lions seniority?
First of all, new members. Our new members get to be confused on what's the difference between Lions Clubs International and Lions Clubs International Foundation. They picture them as synonymous or together, and they don't know the differentiating between them. So first of all, it's educating the new members. And we're starting to be able to help that out at Lions International as well by putting in pamphlets in regards to our foundation and what it's all about and the difference between the two of them. So the biggest thing with new members is educating them. And educating them as to what they do. You're not only a part of this club and a part of this community, but as immediately when you take that oath, you're a part of a global organization. And if you want to leave a mark on society, there's not a better way to be able to do that, because you're part of a global cause that helps humanitarian efforts. If there's an earthquake, which just happened here recently, or if there's war going on, or there's anything that needs humanitarian effort, you're a part of that. And they have to understand, when they give $1 to our foundation and your club gives $1 to our foundation, that whole dollar goes out. There's not many organizations that can say that. That's key. And we give it out to other Lion members around the world, wherever these catastrophes are. This is what we've got to teach the new members, that we're there to be able to help. For those that have been around for a while, I think the biggest thing is, and I can say on a personal aspect, that when my club gave to our foundation, to your foundation, when my club gave to the foundation, I figured that's good. I'm a part of it now, and that satisfies any obligations that I may have for the foundation, because my club's helping it out, and I'm part of the club. But I think for the members that have been around for a while, you have to have a little bit of skin in the game, or pride, I should say. Is I didn't realize until I started taking some out of my pocket to be able to give to things. I have an opportunity that I wish every single Lion had the opportunity to get to see. Lori and I get to go around, and we're feeding children in the slums of Calcutta. And we're taking a look at world disasters that are happening. We're going and talking to refugees out of Ukraine and seeing how they feel. And it just grabs your heart. And I wish every Lion had that opportunity. But once you take a look and contribute that yourself, and being able to have that pride that I'm making a difference, I think that's something we've got to change on how we've done things in the past. It's got to be personal as well as club, as well as district and multiple, on any ways that we can give this organization. I think the hardest thing in my life ever, I've been a trustee in our foundation for some time, we'd go and they say, you have this much money to give up, and we'd have this much in grants. And who's to say who gets the grants and who doesn't? That's the hardest thing. So with our campaign, $300 million of which we raised $325 million out of a 3-year campaign, which turned into 4, it gives us the capability to help out so many more people in need. And that's where every single Lion should be proud of that.
Thank you. Well, now let's talk about bucks. Business, money.
All right.
Because, well, you are an entrepreneur, so I think that is an important issue for you. Fundraising is both a skill and a fundamental tool for us Lion. How do you think fundraising in the Lion world will evolve in the future? Which best practice and which objective do you invite us to be inspired to both locally and globally?
I think the thing with fundraisers is, and again, I'm a business person, and I get hit up every single day for people that are asking for money and for certain causes. And I go back to my last answer a little bit, is whenever I give money to certain organizations, I don't know how much of that is really going to the cause of how much, a lot of times you may have 65 cents on a dollar that is kept for administration fees. You have no idea. And that's why when we go to talk to money and how we do fundraising, and this is going to change a little more in the future, is a little bit about education and showing what we do. First of all, we need to be able to educate the entire world on what Lions does. We have to be advocates. So we're not in it for a pat on the back. We never have been. So we just do our job and then we move on to the next job. We have to start telling the world, look what we are doing, and look at the people that we're helping out, and look at the things that Lions can do, because we put Lions in charge of it, and we're part of a global network everywhere. So whenever there's an issue, we have Lions there. Where there's a need, there's a Lion. So I think it's going to change a little bit on how we approach of the things that we do by advocating and showing what we're doing and showing why it's necessary to be able to give those funds to somebody who can really make a difference in this world. We have to be able to set goals. We've proven that we have the capability of raising $100 million a year. And we have to be able to continue to get better and to strengthen what we can do and what we can raise. And if we can get that education out there in any ways that we can, that's going to make us stronger. Because the more people we help, the more that people will notice how valuable this is. And again, this pandemic has given us an opportunity. People want to help more than ever in this world. All we have to do is ask them to be a part of this. The United Nations has anticipated that there's a 40% increase of people who need humanitarian needs after this pandemic, and primarily because of that pandemic. We have to be ready to be able to serve 40% more people. And we can do that by keeping our foundation strong. And when you do your local projects, start thinking big and how can we make this better with the help of our foundation, because the foundation allows us to be able to do big things my club can't do.
Well, now the last question is regarding your message. A message that focuses your thinking more than any other is to serve in a new way by trying to think and act outside the box. Transforming traditional project into something new, engaging new members primarily through active participation and service rather than meetings. And teaming up, and why not, even having fun, is definitely part of your Lion service philosophy. While innovation and renewal should serve as a beacon, how can we ever make these wishes come true within the European framework? And particularly here in Italy, where tradition represents the main obstacle to thinking outside the box.
You know, traditions are wonderful. We've been around for 105 years, and we've got tradition. We've got tradition of the way we've been doing things, and a lot of them have been very successful. But we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect things to be different. And that's not what happens in reality. So keep those traditions that are working fine for you, and keep those traditions that have been worked fine in your club. We have a tradition of selling Christmas trees in our community because it's a small community. We don't make much money, but it's a tradition and it serves our community. It's not all about money all the time. But keep those traditions that mean a lot to you. But take and those traditions that you've been doing for a long time, maybe take a twist on it and do it differently. Or do something completely different. Because when you do different things, that's going to keep your club motivated to try different things. And it's going to keep new members coming in. In fact, when you get new members coming in here, I think having traditional things are great, but ask them what would they like to see new done in our community? What would you like to see as part of what this Lion Club does? And listen to them. We don't listen all the time. Yeah. Listen to them, and if they want to create a skate park, if they want to do something for the community, let them do it. Let them do it and assign other people that have those same wants and needs. You get them involved. A happy member will not leave your club. I think that's very important to be able to do. If you get them involved, you listen to them, and let them run with it, they know that you've got the confidence in them. So keep those traditions at work, but think outside the box. And I know that's very cliche, but think about the different things that you could do in your community. And listen to people when they come in, because those same club members you probably had, they don't think differently. Bring new people in and listen to them and see what else can be done.
So do you think that we have to rejuvenate the old books of rules?
We have to. We absolutely have to. We're not the same organization that my dad belonged to. We're not the same organization that was 5 years ago. The only thing that's consistent in life is change, and we have to change along with it. If we don't change, we're going to get old, our club's going to die off, and that would just be terrible for our communities, because our communities need us more now than ever. But we have to be able to change and go along with it with the times. We have to be attractive to other members as well, potential members.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much for this interview. It was a great honor for me to know you and talk with you. And I really hope to see you again, and maybe in the next convention.
Well, we're going to get back here before 21 more years. I'll guarantee that right now. But we do hope to see you at the next convention. The conventions are a wonderful time where you can meet new family members, you can meet new friends, you can share ideas, you get a lot of ideas back, you charge your batteries, and you're just ready to go. So I
I'm
hope to see
also-
you. Let's go to the game together. We will have a
Well,
great time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
You're welcome.
Thanks to all of you.